Week 8 of the NFL season is almost here. The Carolina Panthers are officially one game back in the NFC South. We have updates on Bryce Young, a new quarterback that's being signed to the practice squad, all that and more on today's episode of the Two Growls, One Roar podcast. Let's go.
Brace yourself for the ultimate Carolina Panthers experience. Welcome to Two Growls, One Roar, the podcast that hits harder than a Luke Kuechly tackle. We're diving deep into the heart of Panther Nation, bringing you unrivaled passion, insider takes, and pure gridiron fire. From Wilmington to the cosmos, this is your home for the fiercest football talk east or west of Charlotte.
Welcome into another episode of the Two Growls, One Roar podcast, folks. This is take 3 of me trying to get it right, but we're slowly getting there. No F-bombs, at least hopefully no F-bombs that actually make it into the final edition here. But welcome in, folks, man. Week 8 of the NFL season is here. Guess what, man? Carolina Panthers are playing competitive football. Not only that, but the Carolina Panthers are one game back. You have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers losing within the NFC South, as well as the Atlanta Falcons. We know the Saints are at the bottom of the pile. This is a big game. Dave Canales has emphasized this a few times throughout the course of his presser yesterday, today, and even in the Monday update that he does with the new straw for the radio broadcast team, in talking through the fans showing up and how much they want that support there, which is exciting to see. They did also, for all the Carolina fans that were in attendance for the game against the Jets, so they heard an audible keep pounding towards the end of the game, which is exciting for them. I know that makes them happy. Man, here we are. Who could have imagined this? I mean, yes, I said realistic expectations for this team was 4-3. Go back, play the recording. Getting to 4-3, important as we really start talking about 9, possibly 10 wins on the season, hoping that you're in the mix for the playoffs, like stacking those things up. This is the point where you had to be. Looking at it through these pocket of games, the next 3, I hope the Panthers, at a minimum, they have to come out 1-2, which that's not setting a very high bar. If they come out 2-1, that's a plus. If they come out 3-0, that's a plus. And we're not only talking about a team that is here to compete for the NFC South. We are talking about a team that could compete for the NFC if they can take care of Buffalo. I know they're an AFC opponent, but one of the better teams in the NFL. Take care of Green Bay on the road. Another opportunity to say, hey, this is what you got. This is how you get there, and just stack those wins. And then, of course, New Orleans Saints. Carolina Panthers, though, in prime position right now. A lot of questions that we're going to get into Dave Canales and his press conference. I'm excited to try some new stuff today. I know the importance for you guys as fans is for me to be able to convey, like, what do we hear? You know, what's coming out of the Carolinas? What are we getting from the coaches and the players, and how can I translate that into what I think is happening, or at least my opinion on some of the things, and go from there. Most importantly, let's talk about Bryce Young, and we're going to hear all about the injury update from Dave Canales specifically. But earlier today, it was multiple reports saying that it's a high ankle sprain. Dave Canales did not confirm that today. We will get an update, and it's probably just going to say ankle on the injury report on Wednesday. That is really the test for us to know how severe this is, because Dave Canales is calling it day-to-day, which we'll run the clip here in a little bit as he talks about that day-to-day, but all of the reports saying he's out this week. Now, you have to understand, again, things are going to get leaked. We know that. We said last night, if you listened, that like this would happen earlier in the day, 11 o'clock, 11:30, we get the news coming out officially with where this thing sits. So we just have to sit back and wait. Now, Carolina Panthers did decide to go out per Tom Pelissero, there, and bring in veteran Mike White to the practice squad. He spent last year in Buffalo. I don't know the connection. Maybe you can get a little something out of bringing him in. I doubt it. I don't know that it's really a tactical advantage for them to try to learn anything about the offense. But, I mean, they do things like this sometimes. But we'll see. So you still have likely, as of right now, Dave Canales is not going to admit it. We'll see. But Andy Dalton, who probably is going to be your starter on Sunday, We will dissect what that means as we get into it, but it really is a chance for the Panthers to lean on the ground game. I like the idea of feeding Rico Dowdle, again, featuring him. Let's get him 20 carries, get Chuba around 10 to 15, see where that puts us from an offensive standpoint, and continue to find that connection between XL and Andy Dalton. If Andy Dalton is in there, you got your big tight ends. You got a lot of weapons around you in Andy Dalton compared to what he did when he had to fill in last year. But this all just goes back to the importance of having a really good backup quarterback, a quarterback that can step in at any moment, play a game, play 2 games if needed, carry the team forward, and push them and keep them competitive enough until Bryce Young can come back. And talk about a full 180 when you think about last year. And if we got to this moment here where we are today, thinking about the idea that we would be in a position to where we would be bummed that Bryce Young is out compared to how his season started, to where he's come this far. Not the biggest numbers on paper, but a really good brand of football and doing what he has to do as a quarterback. He's not going to go out and throw for 300 plus every time, but doing enough, getting smarter, being efficient with the football, and those things are important. So Carolina Panthers, prime opportunity, folks, to prove it. You can make your excuses for the Dolphins, and that's a bad football team. We know it. Dallas Cowboys, though, good football team. And then what we just saw against the Jets, who are a winless team. So I know a lot of you, and throw the Falcons in there, though. You can't really say anything about the Falcons to a certain extent. Not a terrible team, but a team that a lot of people were much higher on than the Panthers. Folks are going to have to start talking about the Carolina Panthers if they can take down Buffalo, and they will have to take them seriously. And to me, like, do you start to flex into the primetime slot, or maybe even Sunday Night Football to match up with the Carolina Panthers and Green Bay Packers? Not counting my chickens before they hatch. We're not getting too far ahead of it, but it's exciting. Carolina Panthers, though, man, a lot of this success on the defensive side of the ball, Dave Canales has talked about it. He's given a lot of flowers to Ejiro Evero, as have I. And, man, it's stout what they've been able to do, being able to stop the run compared to where they were last year, coming into today. And I don't know how it's panned out since the Monday Night Football games, but you're talking about top 3 production and rushing on the offensive side of the ball, roughly. Again, don't know how it officially, but we could probably say top 5 easily. And then a top 10 defense rushing wise and yards per game on the defensive side of the ball compared to last year. This is a team, and I heard them break it down in the broadcast today, or not the broadcast, but the radio conversation with Dave Canales in their podcast for the Panthers. This is a team that's not given up a rush of more than 8 yards over the last couple of games, if not the last 3, which is ridiculous compared to what we saw. They're doing it against really good backs. They're shutting them down, and a lot of that, I think, has been Derrick Brown. It's a combined unit, but Derrick Brown being in the force to reckon, being able to generate some pressure as well. Well, folks, let's go ahead and not keep you waiting any longer. We've got a few clips that we're going to play from Dave Canales. The first one kicking it off from the press conference, just talking about the performance that we saw on Sunday against the.
Really proud of the way that our players came out, played physical. We're up for the opportunity to go on the road to play a team that, what I saw in film, played a really physical style of football, particularly from the defensive standpoint. They really challenged us in different ways, and our guys were up for that challenge and continued to find a way to run the ball coming out of the game, possessing the ball 11 minutes in the fourth quarter. Certainly on top of that is, J.C. Horn's interceptions to give us more opportunities.
More clips here in a second. But I really like Dave Canales honing in on time of possession. We talked about that last night when we were breaking down the game, and Panthers almost had the ball for an entire more quarter than the Jets, and it was not pretty. I mean, whether you call it ugly or not, offensively it wasn't good. Defensively, it's exactly what you would want to see out of your football team. The importance of what's happening is different players are stepping up. We're getting a little bit more out of this guy versus this guy. Everything's meshing and coming together to build a team. And that's exactly what we need here as a team, an organized group of guys that are marching towards the potential to do something that hasn't been done. And that's just get in the playoffs. Talk about momentum building and the fact that we are 7 games through the season and we're not talking about draft picks. We're not talking about quarterbacks. At least I'm not. And we're not worried about the Panthers having a top 5, top 10 pick. They're not even in the range right now of that like top 15. Great position for the Carolina Panthers to be in. Now, we've got a few clips. I will play at least 2 of them, possibly 3, related to Bryce Young and the injury and the status update that we got from Dave Canales. Again, just nonstop, his stance on this throughout the presser, refuting in a way what's being publicly proclaimed out there by all the media outlets that Bryce is going to miss time. But let's go ahead and run the clip as he.
Yeah, we're going to go day to day. We're going to go day to day on that right now, and just really look at him each day. Just test the ankle in different ways to see if we can't get him back out there on Wednesday in some way, shape, or form. So we're going to just take it that way. And he's saw him this morning, talked to him, and he's like, let's push this thing, let's see what we got, And so we're gonna try to take that approach with it and just go from there.
To clarify, what is the diagnosis of his injury?
I don't want to get too specific in all the diagnosis of it. It's an ankle injury, and it's something that we feel confident we can go day to day with. But again, we're going to have to prove, and go through some milestones with our return to play with our training staff.
This return to play conversation come up quite a few times when Dave Canales is talking. So RTP, that's the abbreviation they have for return to play. But Dave Canales is not going to spill the beans. He's smart. First year as a head coach last year, he probably would have came out and told us a little bit more. He's keeping everything close to the vest. That's what you have to do. It's a game within a game. We know the injury report, again, is going to come out. What we're going to be monitoring is the status of Bryce Young. Did he participate? Is he a DNP? Did not participate? Is he a limited participant, LP, or is he a full participant, FP? My expectation is that he would be DNP, that he's not going to participate on Wednesday. But with this, if this truly is day to day and the people in the building know it, and maybe you're getting a second evaluation, if it's truly that and it's day to day, there is a slim chance that we could see him being an LP, limited participant in practice. And I mean, for me, where I sit with it and, where the Panthers are right now, I'd love to have Bryce out there. But if we really are building something bigger for the season, I look at this as a chance. Maybe you do play Andy. You do give Bryce Young a chance to really recover during this time. Not saying it's a necessity, but like just given the state of what it is, if it really is this high ankle sprain, and they're not going to really get into this, even though all the reports are coming out. But if that's the case, then it's like, okay, if possible, I'd love to have him back for Green Bay. Would definitely love him out there on Sunday. We heard Andy Dalton talking about the difference in the offense. Like, Andy Dalton's not going to be able to move around. Not that that's a bad thing, but Bryce Young is good at extending the plays, getting outside of the pocket, making things happen with his feet. Andy Dalton, though, not a terrible option. Like we said, that's the reason that he was originally brought in way back when the Carolina Panthers decided to draft Bryce Young. He knew what this plan was going to be, and now he's had a few opportunities to be able to step in and do that. So that was really everything that we got. And in terms of it being a go or not a go, I don't think we're going to know until, like we said, injury reports will come out. We'll get a little bit more. Speaking on the Carolina Panthers and some of these veterans, we have to talk about, as we speak on Andy Dalton, the performance that he had on Sunday. And we did get a small sound bite of that with Dave Canales, which we will.
Did a great job getting us to the right runs, making adjustments, gave us a chance. They heated us up a couple of times on third down. He found a nice completion, Xavier on one. We took a sack, miraculously pulled the ball back in to secure it so that we could end up getting into that situation, to punt it and make them have to go the full field on that one. And then, of course, on the last one, the go ball to Xavier was a beautiful connection right there get us into a take a knee situation. So I thought he came in and did a great job.
As we talk about the potential for Andy Dalton to start on Sunday, the veteran presence, want to avoid those turnovers, but he is a bigger body quarterback, so you do have that upside, and really leaned into XL, which I like. So I think giving him a little bit of time here in the offense this week to get it under his feet, take those reps to get him prepared if he is needed. But as I mentioned, it's not only about the offensive side of the ball, the defensive side of the ball has been dominating. Dave Canales spoke about Derek Brown and his performance, which we'll play now. Following that, we're going to run one more clip where we talk about the Carolina Panthers, this ugly performance, being able to find a way to win. I'm going to run both of those clips back to back for you guys so that we can close out this episode and get you on your way. So let's go ahead and
Yeah, it was a dominant performance by Derek, but again, I have to attribute that to the whole group. It allows Derek to play across the line of scrimmage, in and out of gaps when we're setting hard edges. Got to give a lot of props to Nick Scorton, DJ Wanham, Princely when he got in there. Boogie Basham had a couple of reps. We even used Thomas on some pass rush stuff. So a rotating group of edge players. And then those guys inside, Turk had a couple of nice plays coming off of blocks. Ashawn, Bobby Brown, and the whole group together. They're executing the run game plan well together. And then it just finishes with effort. And you saw some great effort plays by Derek, not just in the run game, but also in the pass game, chasing the quarterbacks to minimize some of the scrambles, getting them out of bounds on a 4-yard gain or a 5-yard gain because of the effort to chase them all the way and push them out of bounds. Those are
yesterday.
Absolutely. Find a way to win. Find a way. In this particular game, we were going to continue to try to find ways to run the ball. Our defense was playing phenomenally. Our special teams unit was playing together, and that was the mode. That was the mode that we were in. And for the guys to answer the call, and when we look at the film, there's just some really physical play happening on both sides, and it was just a beautiful thing. And it was the guys were their defense all the way through to the last series. Giving everything they had, throwing the kitchen sink at us. The offensive guys handling that part, and defensively forcing them into some pass situations, and watching our guys come through and make plays. It's really exciting.
Message is conveyed quite well as the Carolina Panthers now sit back. We know nothing happening tomorrow. Wednesday's the injury report. We'll hear from Dave Canales again. Would not be surprised if some information leaks out. Carolina Panthers are heating up. We've got some competitive football. If you guys are still here and you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button or follow on your podcast platforms. As always, this is Carolina Dad